is what brings us into 8:44, the second part of our conversation this morning right here on Culture Daily, Studio 899 to be precise. And if you're listening to us via Plus FM as well, welcome and good morning. If you had the visual form on TV, and here we are smiling in color, if I can say that. And don't forget, we are in Ghana month, so it means that we are all going to be very patriotic this month, okay? Let's amplify the patriotism and feel Ghana, eat Ghana, like they say, sleep Ghana, talk Ghana, express Ghana, make everything all about Ghana. And as we get closer to the big day, 6th of March, let's remember, how far we've come, regardless of our challenges. But I'll still not forget the fact that my lights have been going off after every rain. That's how I have to still say it, because I still don't understand why my lights go off anytime it rains. I've been experiencing that since like age 1, and my lights still go off. But you can't blame it all on the people who power us. It's also about our own attitude, people who cut down cables and, break steel cables and all kinds of things, illegal connections and all. So this month of March, let's be a bit more patriotic. Let's love Ghana. And when you say love Ghana, I mean, let's do things in the interest of creating a better economy for ourselves, not necessarily through governance, but, at home. Right down to our home, and so that when we open our doors, people will be interested in coming in. And talking about opening doors, recently our very own Olele was out of town. We had a conversation with him via Zoom. He was in South Africa for a conference. Well, they are back. And when I say they are back, I mean together with Nana Asihene, who is a creative consultant and the lead at NKACC. In fact, let me not even say that. Nana Asihene, the film director Nana Asihene. The film director Nana Asihene, yes. The legendary film director Nana Asihene. Yeah, he is what I'm talking about. So together with him and Olele, well, they were in South Africa for the See Africa conference. Well, fortunately, they are back in town, and we're going to be having a conversation around tourism in South Africa, a Gauteng masterclass. That's how we've themed our conversation this morning. We also have two other astute personalities joining us via Zoom from South Africa, Babaji and Peter Sibeko. I will tell you who they are later on when we get the conversation also ongoing. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And live in the studio, we've got the man Nana Asihene and the man from Gauteng, Olele Salvador. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are beginning to believe that, like I said, ever since Olele was the only one who got that video when Sark was entering the premises at the Independence Square. Yeah, he has his way of getting his exclusives, and today he squeezed out some exclusives for us as well on the show this morning. Magic Man, please welcome back from South Africa.
Thank you.
I had your boko. I had 28 degrees Celsius. 28 degrees Celsius. By 2 o'clock, the name number 32. I wanted to say, wait, okay, it's not yet mid-year, but is it that cold? No,
it's not. It's not that
summer,
cold.
actually. So. Winter will be around
summer.
June, July.
Tomorrow, guess. First things first, let's be honest. We have all been to the South Africa. We have seen the summer.
It reminds me the first time I touched down in SA. Hey, look, villager at first sight, I'm telling you. Right from it, I was like, hey, so Africa this?
Yes.
I said,
that's the same way I felt, actually.
Is this Africa?
Yeah.
I thought, honestly, I felt like I had flown over the
shortest trip to Africa.
I said, from top. And then when we landed, from airport and we entered Sandton, I said, hallelujah.
I think it's the Sandton shock. They should name it.
Wow.
Because Sandton itself is very upscale.
Yeah, we were in
So
Sandton,
when you
actually
come from Accra or Kumasi or wherever and you land in Sandton, the standard is...
There's a reason why they take you from the airport to
Sandton. The impression is like
it was in Sandton, and I saw the old VW cars that had been maintained, the very old Golf 1, if you can say that Golf. And then they
kicked them out. The Nzanzi guys, they kicked them out and use it for their drifting and all those things.
Oh,
so it's like a flex. They would rather buy an old Golf and modernize it and spec than buy your new Corolla or Camry.
Oh my days!
They're actually big on mod custom made cars.
Custom made.
Yeah.
Well, before I even ask you about the purpose of the event, what was the mood there with regards to AKs? There, did you get any is there any
conversations
in town?
A lot of conversations. I mean, it wasn't like really loud, but you could sense the disappointment. And even in study circles we went to, people were talking about what had happened, how it happened, the shock, the news, how the news was broken, how the family is feeling. Yeah. And literally it's like they've all lost someone special. Mm-hmm. They're not talking about it so much, but you can tell that it's really
there's some pain in their hearts. I can imagine, and it's still surprising that we haven't been able to, they haven't found the culprits, the people behind this. But
they're going to find them.
They have to.
They've got CCTV, there's pictures. Yeah. The guys are probably laying low, and SA is big. I know SA is big.
And also, maybe they found them. But because of the temperature, they'd rather not speak about it now. Yeah. I mean, because then you have to respect the person. The person is dead. You need to be able to
allow the family to mourn.
Everything.
Is that not more reason why they should let us know they have found them, so that then at least people have their minds at peace?
Well, he's speculating though, but I mean, maybe they have, or maybe they, maybe you have to. There's a wider circle. So they want to tail them, and these things.
And those guys don't look like they have a problem with AK. No. They look like somebody who has a problem with AK sent them to do a job. So in catching those guys, you might have opened a can of worms on so many issues that you might not want to amplify at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you speak to people who are close to the family or close to them, you realize that, like you're saying, it's not just one thing about AK is that somebody shot him. It's everything. It's about the culture. It's about music. It's about hip hop. Yeah, the other people are agitating the beefs and all of that. So you don't want to just throw in, okay, we've caught this person and shake up everything. Everything needs to,
I can imagine for a country that is very big on tourism, attracting people to come to the country, is heavily faced with crime, and these shootings and killings, and sometimes might deter.
That's
people.
What I actually find amusing, because I kept telling him that it's either the way they've branded the country or they've positioned the country to attract more visitors. Because here in Ghana, we boast about safety and security. It's a big thing for us. It's not the same way in SA. We'll tell you our experience with the police later. But
you're going to say that.
But
9:50. We'll share that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
But why don't you give me time to laugh at him? 9:45. I beg you.
But I was just wondering, like, you guys have a higher crime rate, but yet still people want to come to South Africa because of some of the places we went to.
It's America in Africa.
Yeah. Well,
I'm Africa.
I think it's
the
about the
contrast
narrative, basically. I mean. And that's something we over here are not doing well. When you control the narrative, what you say, perception, reality, what you say is what it is. So yes, there's crime. Yes, there's crime everywhere in the world. I mean, even the countries that have like a very safe crime index or whatever, there's still some amount of crime. But it depends on what story you tell. And especially if they are selling tourism and they want people to come to their country, they know what to say and they're saying it right. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me bring our conversations to the purpose of your visit to South Africa. Give us insights into this. Later on, we'll talk to Babaji and Peter Sibeko, who will tell us also more about See Africa, the conference. But from your perspective, what sent you there?
So it all happened, I think, 2 years ago. I got a call from Sheila Fire. She's a publicist that lives in South Africa, and she told me about the See Africa conference, and they wanted a Ghanaian speaker. So I willingly did that. Spoke virtually at the conference, and then this year, what's happening is Ghana is hosting.
What was the conversation about then?
Okay, so they are Showbiz and Entertainment summit or conference. So they try to address issues on entertainment, showbiz, and things that evolve around that. How to make it better in Africa. And they've had like 4 other events, but that was targeted at the South African market. So me speaking on the platform, and it wasn't just me, it was me and a few other people from Ghana. What it did was it opened up the conversation to West Africa.
Okay.
And so that ideas can be exchanged and conversations can be had. So this year they decided to host it with Ghana. So that means that Ghana had a bigger role to play this time on the conference. So it was ideal that some of us go over there, represent physically.
Okay.
I spoke. I mean, he was there. A few other media people were there, just so that there's that physical interaction with the South African entertainment and showbiz space and industry. And it wasn't just Ghana. There were people from Kenya, people from Botswana, and other countries.
Okay. So just I had asked Olele on this question, but I think once you were here, physical present. So what was the conference like? What was it like? How many days? What happened, in the various days?
Okay, so it was a one-day conference. It was a one-day conference with about 4 or 5 speakers. There were presentations, and then there was like a discussion. So with the discussion, you had people from Botswana and all the different countries speaking about various topics. And then we had people from South Africa who were working in the animation industry, the fashion industry, the TV industry, the tourism industry, all give talks about how to improve their various sectors in Africa, and then be able to spark conversations and how things can be done in other African countries, so that as a whole, the showbiz industry is improved across Africa. So it was just a one-day thing, just networking, talks, discussions, etc.
So roughly how many people partook in this event?
It was about 200, 300 people, because what's happening is this is the first event. There's another one in June, and then another one, which is the biggest event, in October. So this was more like to set off the activities for the year and to be able to kick off things.
Okay, so in this year's activity, what were some of the highlights of this event?
I mean, I'll say networking. Honestly, I'll say networking.
I think Olele had mentioned that as well. Yeah. The opportunity in networking. Let's expand this.
Yeah,
networking, because all these people who spoke about their various sectors and what they are doing. But it's not like your typical TED Talk where they are just speaking and inspiring you. They gave data. They were very open with challenges. They were open with concerns. They were open with successes, things they've been able to do right. So then you're presented with not just, I can do this, but also how to do it, the data to do it. And these are people you can walk up to after they speak and be able to have conversations with them. One of them that was very insightful for me was the CEO of Downtown Studios. Downtown Studios is like one of the biggest studios, if not the biggest studio in Africa, because I mean there's been like a $6 million investment in infrastructure in that studio, and it's been handed over to this woman to handle it. And she's doing an amazing job, because I mean she's going around speaking about the studios. She's talking about the infrastructure.
Is she light skinned, tall?
She's black.
Oh, she's black.
She's black. African woman, and she's doing an amazing job. Yes, she's doing an amazing job, and she actually showcased the trailer of a documentary.
Wait, is it the same studios where they produce this popular South African soap? They've shown it for years.
The Lion King?
No, not Lion King. Oh, no. But
actually, they recorded Lion King.
The Lion King sound was
the popular
recorded as well.
sound that starts Lion King. Kirk Franklin has recorded the Paul
Simons.
What do you call it? Oh, I'm sure that you should know this. This very popular South African telenovela that has been airing since Generations, and there's another one. It's been airing for many years.
Yeah.
I had a chance to go on a tour in Downtown Studios, and boy, it is a studio.
The beautiful thing about Downtown Studios is the investment actually came from government.
Yes.
$6 million.
Yes. Nice job.
From government.
Yeah, it came from government. Government says, but this is a historic, memorable, whatever you can think about in terms of infrastructure, in terms of contribution to the arts, and we need to make sure that it's not just going to be, left unattended to, because a lot of history is coming from here. So we are putting this amount of money in there, and they've employed resource people. They've employed people who understand the essence of preserving history to run the studio. So when we went there, the presentation she did was to tell us the history of Downtown Studios, what they intend to do, and the fact that they are shooting a documentary to capture every single activity that has gone on from time past or time immemorial to what it's going to look like in the future. And it's not going to be a today and tomorrow thing. They are trying to capture every single person, every single superstar that has come through. So when we asked where the documentary was going to be ready, they told us somewhere around next 5 or 4 years.
Yeah,
that is how much time they are putting to make sure that the story is well told, because the whole importance of the conference was to make sure that Africans tell their own stories. So the See Africa is just a platform to remind us. So everybody that came to the conference took the opportunity to be reminded that we have what it takes to tell our own stories. We shouldn't wait for the guys from the West to come and tell us our stories before we think of... We have to be proactive, basically. And that's the whole idea, basically. For
so any more highlights? I wanted to leave the main what the event is about for our guests when they join us in the studio, but just to pick what you got out of this. So you mentioned this downtown presentation. I'm sure it was over the roof. Any other highlights in there that you can't just simply forget? And there's a lot of lessons that we can pick from.
I mean, just to take off from what he said, and still about the downtown. So when I was growing up in Ghana, really, I mean, anything you hear about South Africa was during apartheid, all of that. But one key thing was the sound of South Africa, because music played a very important role. Mariam Makeba, Hugh Masekela, you could hear songs, the sounds of South Africa. At downtown studios, most of these songs were recorded in downtown studios. So for them to be able to say, okay, this is our heritage, this is who we are, let's create a story about downtown studios. It goes beyond just the studio. It's using music to educate people about the struggle of South Africa and what they've been through. And not to jab, but this is something that I think if the big G's up there would look at, it would help this country.
How have they used the music? Is it the music telling the stories in terms of lyrical content, or? I
mean, because during the struggle, they didn't have a
emoji. Is it something like emoji? Emoja.
Yeah, emoja. Exactly. They didn't have a voice, so they used the arts really, really well. Music, film, drama, to sort of like air their views. So as much as they may not have a political seat at the table, they use the arts to be able to push their agenda and speak what was on their hearts. That's why downtown is very important to South Africans, and not just that, music and the arts in general.
What did you talk about as a speaker?
I spoke about content being king, basically trying to tell Africans that African content is what is ruling now. Basically that, and the fact that the West is coming to us, picking what we have, and then creating movies like Black Panther, Woman King, etc. Back to telling our own stories. We think that they tell the stories better, but we understand the stories. So how then do we get to a place where we are the people responsible for telling the stories? I also talk about a case study of world music, where all African music was classified as world music, and then we are all slapped into one category. So because of that, we are all trying to do music to fit that category and win that Grammy award. But world music, if turned around, should let us understand that we are music of the world, because the world is really moving and dancing to Afrobeats or African music as a whole. So that's something that we need to start owning, start understanding that we are the forefront. They are not putting us on the forefront. We are the forefront. In some way, somehow, they are plugging into what we have. So it's just a shift, mindset shift. We're able to shift our mindset. We will understand what we have and be able to push it further.
I don't know if Olele, you have questions to ask, but I mean, there's a whole lot to discuss around this, especially the lessons that we can pick and relate to what we are. I mean, South Africa in recent times, or no, I shouldn't say recent times, has been very vocal and very all out, on tourism, to use that as a great way of branding the country to attract. And I don't know how their tourism department or the ministry is doing this magic, but I like the way they empower and activate in various countries, get celebrities and all or from different countries to come visit South Africa, talk about South Africa, you hear things about South African wine and all. And I'm very sure in even your own small way, the reaction from Olele when we called, with certain experience in terms of sights and sound and all have gone a long way to tell you that there's something that they are doing right. And that's what we should discuss. What are some of the key things you picked up from the lessons and these notes that were shared about tourism that we can apply here in Ghana to be able to, now that we've started conversations around December in Ghana especially, how can we use some of these strategies to empower ourselves?
I mean, one key thing is so much, but I'll narrow it down to music. So we went to this event by Kunye Records. Basically, it was a day party. Kunye Records. Kunye, yes.
Oh, okay.
So this is Olele and I and AJ.
That's actually how to say strawberry in Vietnamese.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Bro, are you?
I've shocked them.
Is someone Googling it for me?
I've shocked them.
Who even tried?
A waste of Google. They don't know.
Data,
Waste of data.
Anyway, so we walk into this event. We got there around 2:30 in the afternoon. And this is us going, okay, there are no chairs, there are no tables. We walk into this event and the park was packed. Actually, it was sold out 2 days before. So it wasn't like they were selling tickets at the gates. No, places packed is closed. We go in because we had an all access VIP pass. And from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., it was all South African house music throughout.
Wow.
Boom, 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 the whole time. I didn't hear any Afrobeat. I didn't hear any, you know what we call amapiano here? It was just bits and pieces of it. It was just South African music, 100%. And they were having fun. And DJs were on rotation. And it was like the best party I have ever been to because these people were really, really into it. Now, why am I saying this? We talk about packaging, tourism, and all of that in December in Ghana. But the thing is, one of the key things is the music that drives people here. The music actually pulls people here. So, exactly. So, why are we not taking a stance on our music and packaging our music properly? And also understanding that we have a certain style of music that makes us us. I mean, if you go to any Ghanaian party, 80% of the music that will be played will be from Nigeria. Yes. Exactly.
Agenda man.
And why are we not being intentional about this? Because in SA, it's just South African house music. Over 10 DJs, and they are the only song I heard, on the only voice I heard that was different was Nini Ola from Nigeria. And that was like a house song.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Tennis sister.
We went to another event and there was a DJ who was with us, Botswana. And we're like, oh, play something from Ghana. And then he played something from Nigeria. It's like, oh, that's not from Ghana?
Yeah.
That's
matter of fact, we were actually by his deck,
yes,
going through his folders. And he kept asking us asking us about Nigerian songs, thinking they were Ghanaian songs.
Exactly.
So like, no,
exactly. So that's the thing. We have to be intentional about it. We are not being intentional, and we expect it to happen. We expect things to happen because we are Ghana, but nobody knows us out there. Nobody, and this is just Africa. Nobody knows us. Nobody hears our music. Nobody listens to our music because they have their music to listen to. So why are we here listening to their music? Yes,
please, let me
the way
I have said my mother. When I said this, they said my mother. Someone said, mention my glasses. I'm speaking English. Listen, you see, I think it's beautiful that you're bringing this testimonial. It's not anybody who said it. You went and you did you. No be so.
Okay.
And he thought Nigerian music was ours.
Yeah.
There's no clear identification, and we've lost the fact that we are amplifying our tourism agenda with music, but not clearly identifying and owning our music.
Yes.
So people come to our space, our resources, our time to come and learn about music that is not ours.
Yep.
And take all that revenue and all that top of mind awareness somewhere else.
Yeah.
You've been saying this in different ways.
Just to add to it, I was having a conversation with somebody who is sitting on funds from a very big organization, obviously I can't mention. And I was trying to pitch to them the idea of supporting the creative industry. And they were saying that, they want to support the creative industry, but the parts they are picking to support is those who do artifacts, so the wood carvers, etc., because they think that is where it lies. And I was telling her that I get that, but the thing is, music is universal, and music is drawing everybody here. They may be coming for business, sports, or whatever, but music has a way of tying them down, tying everything together. So why don't we clean up our music, be intentional with our music, because that's the only thing that would wouldn't be language bias, and be able to tell our story and position us in a certain way. But they rather put the money in the small scale industries, such as thinking that the people will come. Yes, they will come, but then they experience, like you said, Nigerian music, etc. Pick bits and pieces from Art Center and go. And we think that the tourism sector in Ghana is booming, but it's not really, because the sights and the sounds of it is not Ghanaian.
Great. Okay. I'm also told that Peter Sibeko is on the line. He's the chairman for See Africa Foundation. It's an honor to have you join us on the show. Let's go via Zoom with him. I suppose he's in South Africa, isn't he?
Yes.
Peter, good morning and welcome to Culture Daily here in GH or Ghana. How are you doing?
Hey, very good morning to you, and thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We caught you in traffic, didn't we?
No, I got to a destination. I was just hoping that I was going to get there in time to be able to join you guys. So, yeah, luckily I just made it.
Oh, awesome. All right, I'll make this quick and snappy though. So, I mean, two of our legends, if I can say, our personalities here in Ghana, our stakeholders in the media space, were at this event, at your event, Sea Africa Conference. Can you give us a bit more insight into, or which gap you identified, you and your team identified, hence creating the need for such a conference?
Sorry about that.
No problem. That's some hip hop in the background.
Sorry about that. You were asking. Please repeat the question.
So I'm asking about the gap you identified. Hence the need for creating a conference like this and its purpose.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, 100%. So the gap that we identified was really to fill in the gap of creatives not being business savvy in the way they do or in the way they go about their creativity in different spheres of creativity, right? But specifically within the entertainment industries, because that's what Sea Africa, in terms of the industries, we focus on the entertainment side. So hence we've been going with the slogan, every talent is a business. That's really from the second year of the event when we started, which was back in 2014 when we started. So it was really we looked within the space and thought, okay, where can we fit in without obviously necessarily duplicating what is out there, because we do have conferences that speak to specifically music. Right. There's one called Mushito. They look at the music side, and there's various others that look at dance and others that look at various other industries, right? So we looked at where can we fit in, and we thought that having a conference where the creatives, administrators, practitioners within the various industries can come under one roof and do business and talk nothing else but business, not the talent, not the craft, but business. And that's where the gap was, and that's where we fit in.
What has been some of the success stories of this conference, or some of the reactions you've gotten from participants?
You mean specifically from this one that we've done, or just from inception?
Okay, so let's start from in general, then we can narrow it down to this one.
Yeah. I think in general we've been able to establish relationships outside of our boundaries. That's the one main highlight that I can mention. For one of our nearest countries, which is specifically Botswana, was one that first came on board to partner with Sea Africa, and we actually had a version of a Botswanan version of Sea Africa in 2019, and that kind of took us a step further into the vision of Sea Africa living up to its name, and hence the South African property, but excuse me, so that it fits in and it's relevant to anyone outside the country. And now going into the highlights of this year is even more than just Botswana. We've been able to partner with great guys like Nana Asihene and various others that made their way to South Africa, including some from Kenya. So it has broadened the perspective of collaborations, as it were, because the whole idea is really one of the things that we want this to foster is a good sense of exporting creativity.
Interesting. So,
and importing, of course.
Okay. So, what are some of the challenges that of this conference? What are some of the challenges that African artists in the industry have? Sorry, I'm just getting some feedback. Is it from me or from the other side? Sorry. Yeah, I was asking. So, what are some of the challenges that African artists face in the industry? And how can they overcome them, based on what you've heard some of the stakeholders have been saying?
Yeah, I think it's really the main one is really that perception of that it is just all about the glitz and the glam, or just doing what you want to do, or what you can do, without necessarily getting a better understanding of the environment. Which is, if you're wearing a business cap, then you're able to do that. You're able to look at stakeholders around you and try to how to leverage on those or those aspects, such as marketing as well, so that you can be able to get out there. So those are the kind of challenges that the creative industries or the entertainment industries also much known to be much very informal in its in a sense, and not as mainstream as, or not as structured and well structured as. So and a lot of people carry that kind of mentality, and it's also how easily accessible there's easy entry into the industries, and therefore you will get that, but it's really up to us as creatives to be able to look past that and do the best that we can, and be business minded in what we do, you know.
So, what does the future of this conference look like? I beg your pardon, the opportunities and the challenges that lie ahead, and how can we also navigate these? If you look at this conference in the next 5 years, what is it looking like for you?
Yeah, for us, it is expanding it into other markets much more broader than we've been able to right now. This year is a snapshot of just part of that vision in the next couple of years. So what we're doing is we leveraging on the networks and the relationships that we've created to be able to have other types of services that come out of Sea Africa. So for one, we expanding to have an award ceremony, but an award ceremony obviously that lives up to the essence of Sea Africa, which is business, right? So it would be, having Africans being rewarded for being business savvy. Do you know what I mean? So you can, so media will be hosting an inaugural award ceremony that looks at the most business savvy businessmen or businesswoman within the industries that is, not necessarily just business outside of the industries, as well as hosting the main conference, which happens at the end of the year. So what we've done is this year we had the one that we hosted on the 24th of Feb. We had mostly students, so that it can be and hence we termed it the academy version of Sea Africa, so that we speak to those aspiring and those that are sort of early birds into the industries. So we want to be able to foster or champion conversations to the different segments of the market in various ways, and that's what it looks like in the next year or 2, 3. And I can't necessarily speak beyond that. And the reason I'm saying this is because technology, is changing things so quickly that business in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, the way we do the conference will also be different because of so much change that that technology sort of influences how we do things.
Before I let you off, quick 2 questions. The first is, South Africa has managed to make its music culture very enviable across Africa, and at the same time done a very good job in protecting it, regardless the influx of foreign music or Western music and culture and lifestyles, penetrating various African countries and changing our culture. How have you guys managed to protect this? If you can share some insights with me.
No, I mean it's kudos to the guys that are on the ground, that are creating music, creating dance services and other products and services that are creative related, because they have been able to keep to the traditional sounds, or at least have that evolved in some way, in different ways. Hence, you've got what the Kwaito sound that has come out of South Africa, that has, I think, now evolved into Amapiano, and it's gone on to being drum a couple of years back, and so all those elements have just stayed true to what to traditional South African sounds, but obviously having them evolve.
Is it intentional?
But also the collaboration.
Is it intentional? Is it deliberate, or it just comes off something from the subconscious where I don't even realize that I'm just focused only on South African music because I enjoy the Kwaito or Amapiano?
I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but I think the influence of generations, it's generational influence, so to say, and hence the guys have stuck to that and have been able to keep that going, and it's what also the market aspires, because we all want, and can relate to what speaks to you, and then I guess it also it opens up to being able to export it better, because you see and realize the opportunities and the benefits if you stay true to what
I'm almost done with you, please.
If you know what I mean, from a creative point of view.
Yeah, I'm almost done with you, but let me just get this out of you as well, real quickly. Afrobeats is like the global African, the global African music conversation now, but still, I don't know, has it penetrated into South Africa that much as it has, across many other African countries? Because I still get the sense that Amapiano, Kwaito is very strong in house. House music is very strong in South Africa. How about Afrobeats?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Afrobeats. Over the last, I'd say, about 4 or 5 years, it has slowly entrenched its way into the system, so to say, on production or on broadcasters in South Africa. So much so that if I open up the radio now, every 5 songs I'll hear a Nigerian song, to an extent, music from Ghana as well. So that's definitely it's more than, and I'm pleased for that, because that means there's progress, and that means we're breaking those boundaries, which is really what we should be doing. I mean, these kind of conversations that we're having right now is I think that we should be having in various different ways, and that's what See Africa is all about. To be able to co-create and be part of the change that we want to see, really, as creatives or practitioners, or as people that have some kind of hand in the creative space.
So lastly, and then I can let you off. I mean, talking about change, pulling off such huge activations come with a lot of funding.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to find out how do you get any form of government support, to be able to execute such a conference, or is a private funded event? I just want to understand how this works for you financially.
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. For us, just to give you a bit of background, as an organization or as a company that started this, in the early years, we didn't make money out of it, let alone just break even. And that's purely because we knew how tough it would be, and we knew that, just really from a business point of view, we knew that that's how it goes when it comes to business, or when starting something like this. First 2-3 years, never made or broke even, but only started just after 3-4 years by getting support. So I'm thankful for the guys like the Gauteng Tourism Authority, including the municipality, which is part of government, really. So I'm really grateful for government support towards the creative industries. Much more less support from corporates than and would love more of that, but we don't get as much support as would like from corporates. But agencies of government as well as government have really been supportive, which is, we're grateful, and that's why we're able to be here today and still be talking See Africa.
Peter Sibeko, Chairman, See Africa Foundation, thank you very much for joining us this morning, all the way from South Africa. We're truly grateful for joining us on the show. And we hope to invite you to Ghana soon.
Thank you so much. Lovely stuff.
All right, so when we're talking to Peter, I've seen the reactions in-house. Listen, this morning I read an article that said that China is trying to play some malicious games with Ghana with regards to the IMF, stubborn games with regards to the IMF loan and stuff like that. You see, our headaches are different. Our headaches are very different. So understand some things, you understand. How we wish that
it's like you are stuck.
How we wish that Asihene would have been given some $10.5 million, like his serious car, right?
Serious car.
One order on toy.
To run a documentary dating Ghana back from Yas and so when we don't know whether she's the one in the picture because we don't know yet still.
Everybody draw the one they like.
Yeah, we all draw the one.
And there's something he said, and he's had a lot of support from government, much more government than corporate entities.
Yeah.
And on this side, it's just the corporate entities exploiting us. Sorry to use that word, but that's exactly what they're doing. Because when they throw the money at you and they force you to do their whim, what they want is what you do. So then, if company A is the one in charge of something, it will go the way of company A, and it's
because corporate bodies are paying tax on tax. You pay COVID, NHIL, Get Fund. Then when you finish. After taxing that one,
there's a new one coming that we saw whilst we were away. I don't know how true it is.
I saw it and I put my phone down because I was not here.
I don't know how true it is. I don't know how true.
So malaria tax?
No, election tax.
Election tax.
5%. I don't know how true that is.
What's that supposed to be for?
No,
what's that supposed to be for?
We don't want
to collect money to organize the election.
Or pay and vote.
Yeah, election tax.
No, let me say this. You are broke, okay? Like maybe you don't have money, yes, and you need to celebrate your 30th birthday party. You have to celebrate it because it's part of tradition.
Yeah.
So what you do is that you look to your children, you tend to them, and then you start collecting benefits of maybe your I'm just saying your kids' work. So as they go out, when they come back, their money, that you already take some. We take another one.
It doesn't. It's sad. It doesn't make sense. Honestly, election tax. I didn't know going to take from.
But please, they haven't confirmed. They just said his head. They were in SA. They had.
It was making the rounds. I thought, by this time would have been something.
No, you in Ghana have you heard? You haven't heard. So
it was actually on social media.
I'm just saying that she allowed time for it.
No, but I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if it's
introduced. There's no smoke without fire.
Yeah, because really. Did we see the other taxes coming? No, we didn't see it coming. So I'm not surprised at all.
Beautiful.
They see the thing about
more like thumb tax. Get it?
The thing about the tax. You see, the thing about the tax conversation is I was telling Anna about.
I won't drift off, please. To tax. I beg you.
Won't drift off. Is that when we went to, we saw taxes working.
Show working.
Do you get me? Like show working. Like show working. Like people can afford things and do things because they know that when they are paying for these things, government is ensuring that they are having the best of healthcare, the best of infrastructure, road and we met a Ghanaian brother. I've forgotten his name. Godwin was telling he is a Ghanaian. He moved to SA 10 years ago. And he was telling us that even roads, right? If you're a contractor and you take the road job, right? And that road is supposed to have a particular lifespan. Maybe, let's say, for example, 2 years. And the first 3 months, there's a pothole on the road. You are going to fix the pothole. The government will not give money again to spend it.
You're liable to it.
If that same road causes...
It's been introduced in Ghana. It's been there.
Yes.
May
I come in?
That's how it works in
If that same road causes an accident, someone loses their life, gets injured, whatever, the insurance company will make sure that you, the contractor, you take care of all medical bills. You pay for everything. That way, you as a contractor, when you take the gig and you are doing it, you have to make sure that you are doing the thing to the best.
Accountability.
Mm-hmm. But you see, when these things happen, human beings will start to think. This one, you won't even go and pray too much. Or you won't even enjoy alpha hour plenty. You get what I'm saying? You won't share the link because the structure has already been established.
I keep saying
and then, no, I'm coming. Relax. Me, I already vexed before I land.
Boss, relax.
Because
do you want to hug? Do you want to hug?
We said something. I have a question for you also. I'm coming. We said something earlier. Hold on. We said something earlier. This is not Italy.
Give up.
This is not America.
Tell them.
This is Africa. This is Africa. This is Africa.
Tell them.
Jay, do you know that people who are unemployed are receiving salary?
Look at that.
Are they?
Yeah, you're receiving salary, my dear.
Look at that.
Salary.
Wow.
And that is why it is believed and alleged that they are lazy. Because you are not doing anything. The government is paying you money, almost 2,000 rand. If you convert, it's like around 1,600 Ghana. Do you know the minimum wage in Ghana? The minimum wage in Ghana is around 20 Ghana cedis.
No, it's not.
All right, please.
It's 40 cedis.
You are not doing anything in South Africa. So you know what happens? The creative. No, I'm coming to the creative. You know what happens to the creative? The creative is allowed to think. The creative is allowed to create. Because there are business structures that are implemented to make sure the creative is making money out of his works. Do you know why the tourism authority in Gauteng is working with the creative? Do you know why? Because they know that if the creative puts something together, it adds to the publicity of the sector of the province. Do you get what I'm saying? We have the reason why all these conferences are being held is because they want to tell us that look, it is possible. We have it all, but abroni beyenti, abro any beyenti. We, as Ghanaians, what we do well is PR. We have packaged ourselves nicely. And we go to another country and they are showing working. They are showing working. You heard him. Governments are supporting creatives. Government are giving stipends. 6 million. Government are putting in money. That
government give Kirani Ayat money.
Oh. After what? After he identified the
they stole and they paid.
Take charge. It's okay. It's okay.
No, you guys relax.
Government continue, I'll do a task analysis.
Do you have water for him? He's on fire.
You saw it out there.
Task analysis.
The thing is, government supported Charlie Festival.
The thing is,
that's some investment into creative.
No, you see, the thing is, if you're giving money, generally, if you give your child money, Oko school, but you ask him, Sikano de Yedeng. Do you understand? So if you're giving money, there needs to be a certain form of accountability. And there needs to be a structure that the money will work within. If there isn't any structure and there's no accountability, anybody can take government money and run away and go and do whatever, or buy half of Ciro's car. And nobody is held accountable for it. And that's the problem. And even if the money is there...
Ghanaian creatives, and I put this back as a debate, before we go into the next question I was going to ask, have Ghanaian creatives also failed in you know the question? You know the question. Finish the question and answer.
Yes. The first part of your question already, I know the question. The answer is Ghanaian creatives are bre.
No. Let's finish the question first for the purpose of those who are
those who don't know the
other
question.
People went to St. Peter's who don't know the question.
Yes.
But there are lots of people from St. Peter's. It's a multi-time question. Usually when people can't ask questions, St. Peter's people they like doing that. They like certain matches. They press the bell. What is the P?
16.4. Yes, correct for St. Peter's.
So let's have Ghanaian creatives failed in proving themselves as business-oriented sector that, if given the chance, can be able to add to the GDP or whichever country.
Bro,
the country.
That's the sector.
Let's not speak this in with just perception. I want it to be factual.
Yeah, but so Jay, okay.
So I beg you, I'm only asking. I didn't.
No, I'm just saying. You've already answered the question. You've already answered the question.
You carried it and put it on your chest. You've
already answered the question because that particular sector you're talking about just last year contributed about $3 billion to the GDP.
Give them.
And we are currently the number 3 contributing factor to Ghana's economy.
Without structure.
Matter of fact, the same thing happens in South Africa at the Sea Africa conference. Garba G, who's the marketing and head of commercial at the tourism authority in Gauteng, said this. Baba, you said Baba? Baba.
You said Garba.
Yes, it's Baba.
Give me a moment, we shall allow you.
It's Baba.
Yeah, when you go, is
that what you do? Oh,
that's what we do here,
Charlie.
It's the same thing there, and it's not different from what we have here. But when such statistics are being shared, it's heartwarming. It's received with so much honor to be a creative, because you are not only getting value for your work, but you're also contributing to the overall success of your sector. Do you get what I'm saying? So even if you don't have that encouragement to go on, when you hear things like this, it will push you to do more. When we go to...
But haven't there been some tax cutbacks for if you're importing certain logistics for purposes of, like stay sound and lights and stuff like that?
Those are misdirected initiatives. Yeah. Not every creative needs an import exemption.
No, I'm just saying that...
I understand they are.
I'm not talking about every creative. Yeah, you don't need it, I don't need it. I'm just saying that for those who need it. Haven't there been some cutbacks on...
Like you said, it's understanding the industry and how the industry works. If you put in place things that benefits just 0.5% of the creative industry, then you may as well not have done anything.
Yes.
You understand? And Cyril will attest to this. Some of us, we are creatives and we are entrepreneurs. And the two most difficult things to do in this country is be an entrepreneur. The second, or if not the same, is to be a creative. So imagine you're a creative entrepreneur. That's like the craziest thing that can happen to you. So what is being done in this country to support people like us, people like Cyril? You understand? People like us who are putting passion and money and things into the creative sector, but there's nothing coming back. Therefore, if you're putting in place these systems, you need to go back and have conversations with the people on the ground. What will help you? How does your industry work? Then you can put in the structures for it to be able to start helping and lifting these people from where they are. But if the people who are deciding these initiatives do not even understand their industry, an example is anything creative that is done for this country is always shoddy, because the people who approve it are accountants and people who think by virtue of the fact that they sit in a certain position know what creative is.
Yeah.
But they do not know. Same as you won't let me go and approve a medical bill in Parliament. So we should do same to the creative sector.
And I think that is about exalting the creative industry and the creative space, because we don't do that a lot. I mean, creatives know what they bring to the table. Yeah. Creatives acknowledge that they are high up there. They are very really intellective creatives that you would find, right? But the people outside the creative space don't acknowledge creatives as who or what they are. That's what, just like Nana said, that they can just pass shoddy bills and all of that. But I think it will start with acknowledging and appreciating the creative space based on the people in it, the things they bring to the table, the contributions they make, and then as well as how they are able to work to make sure that certain things are done. Because imagine a country without creatives. Yeah. I don't think it will work. Talking about acting, radio, TV, even billboards, art pieces, all of these things come together. Music, all of these things come together, right? So I just feel like the onus lies on the people in bigger, quote unquote, bigger positions to acknowledge and appreciate that.
All of you. Please, okay, finish up, because I like the way you're all passionate about speaking about the creatives and how you think creatives have done everything in this country. But finish up. I'll throw a few shades to you.
Yes, so St. Peter's here. Please, we are doing this. We are committing the same error that I keep accusing the whole country of. We confuse creative industry for entertainment industry. Yeah. And that is what the lawmakers and the law administrators and the tourist agencies and the creative agencies also blunder on. Yep. The creative industry is not the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is a very small, minute subset of the creative industry that depends on the creative industry. Everybody from your gaffer to your DOP to your makeup artist to your writer publicist, to the person who will never be named and celebrated is creative industry. Creative industry is meant to elevate who we are, translate and propagate our culture, tradition, and our experiences, from painting, artworks, you name it. So when we talk about creative industry in Ghana, we are always flawed and have this mindset. We are saying creative industry, but we are just thinking about music.
Stop.
Charlie. When you are doing great things, the devil will go around you.
With
microphone. The devil will give them mic.
You bring your belly. Cyril thought we didn't
Are you
get
dancing?
that. But yeah.
Lucifer, wait.
Yeah, the creative.
No, that was creative. I was just being creative. I was being creative in my own way.
I said the end of issue.
But someone else here.
But I say.
Error. It's a big error.
Yeah.
And that is part of the problem. That is why I keep saying that whatever money we are getting at end of year of return, blah, 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 is a fraction of what we could be getting or should be getting. Yeah. Are we telling Ghanaian stories? Are we supplying these people with Ghanaian experiences?
You see this question he's asking. Yeah. It's a question I want to ask back.
So take it.
No, the question I'm asking.
No, don't worry. It'll be relay. So just to Achimota Rad.
No, so he has asked it on my behalf.
No, you want to steal my 3 points. That's the
telling
issue.
The Ghanaian story.
Yes. Okay. So I think that
because
the Ghanaian story you cannot tell a story when there's no platform to showcase the story.
Right.
I could make the world's best film.
But YouTube is there.
No. You see, YouTube is too much of a mass place. Yes, there's targeting and all that, but YouTube is not where you go to put your native content. GTV. See, we have
3 Music.
No.
I might sound sarcastic.
Again, the places you are mentioning.
Look. You are here. Let's ask him.
The place you just mentioned.
How many good quality, in fact, the two of you? Perfect. How many? I run a TV station, and I will tell you that I could not play Ghanaian music videos for one. In fact, I possibly couldn't even last for about 7 hours.
There's actually a big problem here at music as well.
Yes, because again,
TV.
Let me tell you why.
TV worthy content.
TV worthy, please. The school.
Yeah.
He didn't give it to me.
Excuse me.
Perusa.
Versus 5.
It was difficult. And any time that a TV content person said this, you are speaking. I understand you. They didn't understand. They thought, but we have videos. No. Yeah. But you just can't get quality videos to put on your screen.
Again, that's the entertainment industry.
No, I'm coming. I'm talking about that space, and I'm saying that even in that space, it's difficult to get good quality Ghanaian videos that will tell. You know how we segment these shows.
I get it.
So I want to play hot Ghana music videos. Maybe let me move hot. Let me say traditional. Patriotic. I have a segment called the patriotic Ghanaian music videos.
Yeah.
If I play Made in Ghana, and I play Kwabena Kwabena featuring episode featuring Kwabena Kwabena, and I play some Akwaba Mary. Akwaba with help on Mary's Mary album with Sako. I didn't even see videos.
No, I didn't see much.
And I play some 1 or 2. That's it.
You see, let me.
Charlie.
Commercial money drives a lot of things, right? I've written treatments for music videos that had a huge basis on Ghanaian culture. The artist said no. No, this is not what they want.
They want Jay-Z and Tupac.
Yes, because that's what sells, right? So they are just trying to make money. So they will do what sells. But just like I said in the beginning, in a country like South Africa, where house music is what they consume, and like Peter said, over the past 4 years, we are gradually inching into the South African market. Meanwhile, we are here thinking that we are big there. We are not. They are consuming their own content, therefore it creates a commercial value for it, and then the money comes back into the industry. So even if government won't support us, I clap for myself. Even if government won't support us,
initiation,
yes, and we are making money, then we'll be comfortable telling those stories, and then we can push the agenda, but we can only push it to a certain level. Do you understand? So the Ghanaian needs to consume Ghanaian content. There's no education in our schools about the creative arts, cultural studies, and all those things. Nobody is teaching us about what the Ghanaian is about. When was the last time you sang a patriotic song? Asihene, Arise Ghana. You don't even sing it anymore. Exactly. So maybe let's
you sing it next week.
So that's the thing. We are gradually losing our thing because we haven't placed value on it, and we don't think it's important. And we need to make money. We need to eat.
Good.
Good. Thank you very much.
Now, on the back of that question, I have a very important question here. On the back of this question, so how can artists balance that need to a global audience, still maintaining your cultural values and traditions? How do we? Because it seems we've done 90-10 or 99-1.
Yes. So someone made a comment. They said 10 years ago, when Nigerians were moving out of their country and going to other places, they were working, right? They were working jobs, the McDonald's, burger joints, cleaning and stuff like that. But omuko school so count. So they were going to school. 10 years later, you find them in big positions, VPs of record labels, in distribution companies, in content, huge content.
And now they have papers.
Exactly. They have papers, exactly. So now what they're doing is people who are not necessarily in the creative arts, lawyers, doctors, whoever, are doing their investors are doing their bit for the creative industry to tell the story. In Ghana, there's a disconnect between the creative industry and everybody else. So everybody else thinks they're important, and we just throw the creatives in to do their thing during entertainment.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we are the fed, even without support. So imagine if the support was there. Imagine if the lawyers would open their services up to creatives. Imagine if investors would put money into creatives. Imagine if the business people would do analysis of the creative sector, pinpoint the business points in terms of how much money needs to be put in, advise creatives so that creatives can be creatives. And somebody else would take this, distribute, somebody else would add value to it, somebody else would be doing the selling and the PR, etc.
But when legal entities stepped in, example, to bring highlight Ekuapin Polo's case, for example, creatives were fighting it back, you know. It was also a way to shape the creatives.
No, you see, Jay, sometimes I feel like...
Oh, that's input.
I feel like...
Yeah.
Jay, sometimes it has to do with foresight.
When Ghana police stepped in with Shatawale and medical, creatives were all, you know...
But they were stepping in to do their job.
They're doing their job.
That's what I'm saying. It's lack of foresight.
I'm just saying that it's all support to the creatives.
Yes, exactly.
It is.
Exactly, but you see, it shouldn't just be because... it shouldn't just be because...
Choking people who had shown weapons as well.
But Jay, it shouldn't just be...
Right.
Ghanaian.
I'm saying that it shouldn't just be a Shatawale or a medical because by virtue of who they are, they may have access to these things easily. They can even pay for these things. I'm talking about a guy in, you
guys are still talking about the entertainment industry.
Creative in Sotum.
Yeah,
For now. Who may not have money to hire the service of a lawyer, who may not even have access to the police to get them perhaps fix a situation faster or quicker as compared to Shatawale Medical. That's what we are talking. We are not talking about just treating the A-listers. We're talking about the fact that it needs to trickle down to the barest minimum, and that is what these guys on the other side are doing.
Education in schools.
It's very, very important. The fact that, like he said, I mean. Look, I am even guilty of this, really. How many of us do we really know our culture? Really?
You see,
that if someone stops us today and say, Charlie, tell me about, I'm going to throw a jab here, and I know the SAC nations will come after me, but let me say this. I watched an interview with SAC and Vlad. If anybody has seen the interview, go check it out. Vlad had an opportunity to learn something from SAC about his own heritage in the Ashanti region, and SAC couldn't speak on it. SAC didn't have an authority to speak on it. And I'm coming. No, hold on. No, hold on. My point is,
I know I go call you. We
find ourselves in certain spaces where we are guilty of the things that we speak of. To be very honest, if you ask me about my cultural heritage, I promise you, I may not be able to give you something authentic. Something strong to start. And it comes back to us. Have we really moved away from what really is
people were giving those who got RA 45 and go to visual aspect? They are the only ones who can go into visual aspect.
Exactly.
No, but it's true. I think
that's the big problem.
The problem is that,
and it's really unfortunate
when it comes
because
to entertainment, we are good taking what is internal, using it to entertain, and then propagating it to the world, right? Case in point, Azonto, Afrobeat, all that. When it comes to culture and creativity, we always seek our inspiration from outside and want to replicate and apply in this market. That's why our films, when we had Kofas and Pascal here, our films, I brought up the same conversation, that why can't we tell our stories? Why does it always look like the African trying to be Yankeefied? While America is trying to Wakanda Africa. It's inside out. Same for every other thing. And Olele just hit it on the head. We don't know ourselves. So how can we be creative about who we are?
No, Cyril. If you say we don't know ourselves, that's questionable.
Oh, we don't.
No. Wait, you think we don't know ourselves? How don't we know ourselves? I feel like we know ourselves. You know, there's a case where sometimes you want to do something, right, but you don't have the funding or the backing enough to do it. Even in your personal lives, there are times that you may want to buy certain things, but you don't have the money to do that, so it stalls you. I think that was the case. No. Imagine having to create stories based on Kwame Nkrumah, based on Santoa, all these very historic people who actually lived and existed. That takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of funding that people can't do on their own.
When you go to
I
school,
feel like if you say we don't know ourselves, if you say we don't know ourselves, I don't think that's true.
Okay, can I say something?
I don't think that's true, because we've had people come up who want to tell these stories, right? And then also the process of actually having that signed off to you, because there are certain places and spaces you have to use. Are they going to give you these places to use for free? Isn't that going to come at a cost? Getting all these people in that particular movement, it takes a lot. So I think we know ourselves, but it's just support that we need to get to an extent.
Before it's just quickly, because of what Lenny said, right? One thing we also learned in South Africa was accessibility. The moment you step in there, you say you want to do something that will bring some kind of benefit to them, they give you all the accesses. They give you all the access, whether you want to shoot, to do. Look, we went to some heritage sites. We took pictures.
Hold on. Issue with accessibility in Ghana.
Hold on. Oh, please.
Okay.
I went to a place in Ghana, took a picture. Policeman moved to me that I can't take a picture here.
Can I say something?
No. Hold on. Is your place bigger than Mandela Square?
No. Where was this place?
I'm not going to mention before they come after me.
No, because we
have seen creatives. We have seen creatives go to places.
Mandela Square is an open ground.
Jay, let me.
They even say you can't use a camera.
Let me land. I don't want you to take me out of context.
I went to his house.
I don't want people to take me out of context. My point is, we've been to historical sites in this country. Creatives willingly go there to shoot. You yourself, your last time you said it.
I was going to even say you
yourself, you said it.
No,
and you have to either pay.
Let's not lose the context.
No, I'm not losing the context. You have to either pay.
Let's not lose the context of the.
I'm not losing. I want to learn so that you understand what I'm saying.
My point is the context of accessibility.
My point is, when you go to the GTA, how long does it even take for you to get approved to go and shoot something? How long?
When you go to where?
When you go to the GTA or go to any of these agencies that control these places, how long does it take for you to even get approval to go and shoot?
Have you been there?
I'm asking you a question.
No, because I haven't gone to GTA to ask.
But yet, when you went to other tourist sites to shoot your own content that would benefit the country in total, they were asked you to pay.
Yeah, so those were the people who were guarding those places. Let's not take it out of context.
That's what I'm saying. That when you go to places in SA, you don't have to pay.
And I'm just saying that there are lots of places in Ghana where you don't even need permission to go and do what you have to do. That's one.
That is here. Like what?
Number two, there are places that if you want sat in your seat and said thank you to Kotoka International Airport for granting us accessibility.
But did she pay?
She paid. Why can't they give it to her for free?
Guys, I want to take us back a second. Guys, I want to take us back a second. The person who is asking you,
it's 950 or the police matter. Yes.
The institution, the person who is heading the institution, that is frustrating you. The officer who wants to collect money before you film, and the crew and the other creatives who don't believe in telling the African story. They were all created by the system. The same system that said that our culture was savage and the advantages of slavery was development. This is in social studies books that are taught. We all read those stupid books. You understand? Telling us that crap. So when you grow up and you elevate people in a system that festers from that perspective, you are not going to have people who would think that their tourist sites are of value. When you tell them that colonization's advantage
because that was then, and people were backward at the time. Now
I'm
people are enlightened to an extent.
Listen to my perspective. What I'm saying is that we are not raised from inception, right, to value or praise or think that what we are and what we have is worth that glory. So we don't grow up thinking that we can make money from it or we should even elevate it altogether. Do you get it? I mean, he had something to come in, if he can come in on it.
So I have so much to say. So this is the thing. So based on what you said, I'll tell you that to tell our stories, it is not a story about Kwame Nkrumah. That's huge.
That was just an example.
I'm just saying. So I remember years ago when I did a video for Sa Okodie, and Sak was wearing regular whatever, but had like a hat of an Ashanti king. Right? It's just these little things that tells our story. How you use the little chance you have to plug in something. Then gradually it grows. It grows as you're going on. So we shouldn't wait for that huge opportunity to do a movie about Kwame Nkrumah or whatever. Those will come. But if we haven't done the small things and created the platform or the foundation, we will not get to that point. That's one. Two, like he's saying, our identity, education. We've taken art out of the education curriculum. We don't understand what we are. So we do not know ourselves because ourselves is rooted in history. It is rooted in social studies, cultural studies. These things are not being taught in school anymore. The kids know more about TikTok than these things. and we think, it's development. Yes, there's development, but those are the basics of being a Ghanaian. So if they don't know that, what story are they going to tell? The truth is, what they know is what they are telling. So let's not even begrudge anybody who's putting out content there. They are putting out what they know. And what you know thrives in a system where that thing is accepted. So if I'm in Ghana and I speak like a Ghanaian with a clean accent, and you will look down on me, but I have to speak with like an Americanized accent, wear a certain style of kaftan, hold a certain phone for you to think that I am the real deal, then this country won't move forward.
It's the women, oh.
And the men everywhere.
Don't do that.
You just give right now. The guy's dressing.
Yes, so
because of the woman.
So everybody's finessing us. We are finessing ourselves. We are not
confusing
telling
the Ghanaian culture.
Jay, we are not.
The women are helping the Ghanaian men to confuse the culture.
Exactly.
Jay, we are not. Don't do that.
Anyway,
But
no. So it's the reason why I was also saying that, sometimes I blame us the creatives, and have we really proven to all these corporates, be it government and corporates, that we can be able to manage the things if given the right funding? And that question is very,
creatives are doing their best.
I think we have.
Yes.
I think we have because those who have the funds, the Afrochellers, etc., who've had the funds, see how some of these things have become so big. There are people who've done small short films and they've gone international.
But I'm sure they are getting some support from government.
No, without
because
support.
Afro Nation got support from government.
He's talking about the small ones.
Things. People are putting
who
films
don't get
on
any
YouTube
support
and Vimeo and are getting listed on international film festivals, and they are celebrated outside. There's this guy called Aboya. His photograph is on Lightroom splash screen when you start Adobe. Did government give him any support? No. I'm sure he self-taught. He didn't learn art in school. When he bought his camera, he paid full tax on it.
There are cases, but I'm just saying that we the creatives also have to be able to set up and turn and make our industry very attractive, because a lot of us, some of the things we churn out. Look, and when it comes to, I don't want to touch on that, but the laziness that also sits with us sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
It's big. It's so big that a businessman, and for someone to put money into your craft, the person has to make sure that he's getting it right with you.
Yep.
I'd rather risk my money in oil than look at creative who,
which is not even a risk, because you get your money back.
Yes, and you might...
Basically, we've not shown or proven that we are
working. We have, but the bigger... I always say that there are a lot of smart creative people in Ghana. Yeah. However, those people are just we're in the dark.
Can I say something?
Quickly, we have a minute, because the story, I won't say about the policeman.
The thing is, as a creative right now, I want to leave this country. I want to. Every creative I speak to wants to leave this country. Because you don't thrive in this country. You can't thrive. There's nothing that makes you thrive. You go into another country for 2-3 weeks and you feel like you're a superstar. Not because you're making millions, but because you feel enabled.
Please, what happened with the policeman? I beg you, what happened?
It's a dead story, so I'm not going to even go into details. Yes, but I'm just saying that
the policeman.
The policeman is not dead. I'm not saying the policeman is dead.
Let me tell you the story.
Yeah, what happened?
So we go out, small Ghanaian cities. We go shop small, trying to, and we get out of a mall and we're heading to our hotel. We get in an Uber. We're driving, and then a police car pulls up and asks us to stop.
Okay, you went Olele.
And myself and
AJ and Olele, yeah. And so policeman, they're Ghana. We don't say if we stop buying, but like we did inside cool because Obi man. So then they check the policeman license.
The driver's license.
The driver's license, yeah. Then they say we should get down. Oh, so I get down. And then he gets down. And then they take our phones and ask us to open our phones. I'm like, what's happening? Then he takes our phones and starts going through our WhatsApp chats.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then goes to our messenger. And then goes to my email. And then he's in his email, his folders, looking at his invoices. Which invoice is this? Who sent you this money, etc. So me being a Ashwish continue, I want to talk to him. I'm like, oh please, what are you looking for? Then the guy tells me cyber fraud. So I'm like, cyber fraud. So they look through all our phones, everything. Like they go through our photos, our chats, going through my Facebook friends, telling me which girl is hot and which girl is not. You see that rhyme anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
That.
And then, so we are trying to ask them, and they're armed. Like they're armed with strapped, and one of them is being aggressive.
And they're going through your phone.
Everything,
our photos, our photos, our
Is that legally right?
Yeah, is that right in the first place?
So I asked him.
I asked him.
I asked him.
This is your phone.
Yeah. In fact, from the time the guy reached out or approached our door, our passenger door, I asked them like, why should we get down? Because we man so.
Yeah.
You get me?
Are they even legit policemen in the first place?
They are actually legit. So we are like, why should we get down? And the guy was asking me why I'm asking him the question.
What time of the day or
Wow.
This was like broad daylight in the afternoon, around 3 p.m. So I get down and Asihene tells me I shouldn't engage him. I should just keep my cool because I was scared. I was like, yo, this thing doesn't happen to us.
Hey,
the way bro. And when I got closer, I was like,
like your video go trend though.
Hey. Jai. Yeah. So I just collaborated
like all
with
the
them.
When you filmed them,
all the questions they were asking me, I was just answering them. Then the guy who was attending to him, they switched. That guy came to me and then he's asking me about elections in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Did they think you guys were Nigerian?
I think so.
So
I think
it's
my
because having to go through your phone.
The mechanism Muko Time is up. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a great conversation. There's a part that we didn't exhaust, but it's because we couldn't get Babaji on the line. But it would have been great to tackle those things to understand and make a comparative analysis between how they make things happen there and what we can also learn here. My name is Jay Foley. And Asihene, thank you so much for joining us. Really welcome back home.
Thank you.
As well. And we're back here same time tomorrow for the weekend edition of Culture Daily. And we out.